permit, Class C beer permit, and Sunday sales license, July 1, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. Crowbar Class C liquor license, outdoor service, and Sunday sales license, May 15th, 2021 through May 14th, 2022. Mini-Mart Class E liquor license, Class B wine permit, Class B native wine permit, Class C beer permit, and Sunday sales license for June 1st through 2021 through May 31st, 2022. Old Rutch Park Tavern Class C liquor license and Sunday sales, May 30th, 2021 through May 29th, 2022. Independence Chamber of Commerce Class B permit liquor license, June 10th, 2021 through June 15th, 2021. Independence Chamber of Commerce Class B permit liquor license for July 29th, 2021 through August 3rd, 2021. And Independence Chamber of Commerce Class B permit liquor license for August 12th, 2021 through August 17th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried.
Need a drink of water there, Mayor?
Get a drink. Okay, next I need a motion to approve claims for payment.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second to approve the claims. Any questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda is the bank reconciliation. For your information, was there any comments or questions on that? If not, we will move down to the revenue and expenses to date for your information. No comments? Then we will keep moving along. Okay, next on the agenda is a public hearing on proposed plan specifications, forms of contract, and estimates of cost for the 2021 downtown sidewalk replacement project. I need a motion to receive and file proof of publication of the notice of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next, I would ask for a motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are now in public hearing.
This is the project that replaces the sunken portion of the sidewalk along portions of First Street East. We've talked about it at length, and I don't know if Brian or Mark have anything that they want to add with that, but this does address that issue moving on later this summer.
Yeah, happy to answer. Good evening. Happy to answer any additional questions about the project.
Ryan, they got a timeline as to when it would be accomplished?
They're not allowed to start the project until after the 4th of July. That was one of the things that we put into the contract, and they're to be completed by November 1st. So I don't know when they'll move in. I would certainly imagine that they would move in and get the work done and then get out. The staging is pretty restrictive, really. They can only have one segment and one block of active construction at any one time, so that there's basically three block lengths that we're going to be tackling with the project, and so the other two are going to be open to traffic, and also all of the sidewalk adjacent to the storefronts is open at all times. So there'll be fence, essentially construction fence, I would anticipate, behind the colored segments of the walk that's being replaced. So the sidewalk will be open, and only one area of parking will be restricted during the construction. So they're not going to want to be downtown any longer than they have to be.
So all segments of this operation, you'll be monitoring your office?
Oh, yes. Yes, sir.
Correct.
Will this just be basically the parking area that's closed, the traffic east-west through downtown isn't going to be affected, is it?
Correct. You've got that right.
There'll be
Yep, traffic.
limited parking.
Traffic on Main Street will be open at all times. The contractor's required to maintain two-way traffic on Main Street during the entire operation. And they'll likely, that staging area that is, in fact, the parking that's adjacent to those through lanes, that's the only area that they'll be impeding.
I've been asked if we have any recourse against the prior contractor that originally did that sidewalk. Nothing?
For the first 4 years, yes. That's their required maintenance bonding period. And that, again, in this contract, that's kind of a standard that comes out of the Iowa SUDAS specifications. So 4 years, they're required from the time that you accept the improvements. If there's any trouble with it, that's the time that the city would have to go back on that contractor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Will we be doing anything that would reduce the water flow that might be underneath that concrete, or if,
I think the First Street job took care of some of that where they did put in storm sewer and subdrain as part of the First Street improvements that were completed in 2019. Any additional questions?
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Brian.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
I do have a motion and a second to close the hearing. All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed, the same. Motion's carried. We are out of public hearing. Moving on to a motion to approve a resolution finally approving and confirming plan specifications, form a contract, and estimate of cost for the 2021 downtown sidewalk replacement project.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. Any questions? If not, could I have a roll call, please?
Callahan?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Scharf?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Okay. Now we are down to consideration of the bids for the 2021 downtown sidewalk replacement project.
We did have two responsive bidders. You should have the bid tab as part of your packet tonight. Midwest Concrete out of Piasta and Chig-Fry Excavating out of Dubuque. The low bidder was Midwest Concrete from Piasta. If you remember, they were the contractor that built the Highway 150 and Enterprise Drive Phase 1 trail segment. So we recommend award to that contractor if you want to proceed with the project. That bid amount, the low bid was $47,400.
Are they the same group that was, started work on 10th Street Southwest? And then,
No, that was Top Grade Excavating.
that's right,
Yep.
Cascade?
That's correct.
That's good. I was just concerned when I saw that.
Yep.
They're good.
Yeah, they did good work.
I make a motion, we accept this proposal.
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve Midwest Concrete awarding them the contract for the 2021 downtown sidewalk replacement project. May I have a roll call, please?
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Scharf?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried.
Thank you. We will communicate with Midwest and get their bonds and insurance and other required documents and get them back to the council for
Thanks,
signature. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Next on the agenda is public hearing for the ordinance amending the Chapter 105 of our open burning document. I need a motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next, I need a motion to hold the public
So
hearing.
moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second to hold the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. We are now in public hearing in regards to the Chapter 105 open burning document.
If we had any citizen,
No input, no feedback. It's going to really fall back on the council and how you want to do it. It does make sense to try and set dates so that we're not trying to outguess Mother Nature, and the timeframes are a little bit longer, both spring and fall, than originally set up. But it does give you a definitive, this is when it starts and this is when it ends. And we eliminate some of the, well, I didn't know when it was, excuses.
should the odd event happen where, because of it being way too wet or something like that, would we still have an option to extend the date further, or?
The council always has the right to waive the ordinance that you adopt. So if you felt like there was an extraordinary circumstance, you would have the right to waive it. I don't think it's something we want to be in the habit of doing. Obviously, you want to make sure it's an extraordinary event, but you would have that.
I remember a couple years ago, we had the open burning and all the leaves were still on the trees and everybody was all upset about it because the leaves weren't down yet.
Right.
And
We did
nice
offer,
to keep the flexibility.
we did offer one citizen the option of burning them on the tree, but they didn't take us up on it.
And I think part of that is why we wanted to change this particular ordinance and have definite dates, because that was always a
I don't think
guess.
we approved that.
No, you
That was
didn't.
always a guest act each year as to what times to do it, and Mother Nature didn't always pay attention to us, so hopefully this will help that situation.
Did we have any, did you have a number of complaints of what we had this year? What we had for the, dates and everything? I know there was a lot of people, just as you said, that I spoke with, that they didn't seem like they know when it was. So that was, you're right on there.
Yeah, we get that all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would say that we had a lot of complaints. We always, every year we hear something because somebody missed it or started too early, didn't get it done in time, but it isn't the spring when we get the complaints, it's the fall when we get
Sure.
most of that pushback. So I think addressing it now, before we get to that point, is the time to do it.
I think by having established dates, it'll be a lot easier to have it published on our calendar,
Yeah.
and it'd be the
Way-
ability of the
way in
newspapers to
advance.
get it out, notify the public a little better.
Yep.
Well, we get it locked in and it's there.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments, questions? Then I ask for a motion to close the hearing and receive and file oral and written comments.
So moved?
Second.
I do have a motion and a second to close the hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Now I would ask for a motion to consider adopting the ordinance for the first time.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. We do have it on the agenda option if you want to waive the second and third reading, but I think we have time on this, so it's entirely up to you guys. Hearing no takers, I will move on to the next item. Okay, next we have a motion to consider adopting the ordinance for the second time for the Chapter 122.16, which is food truck exemption.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, I do have a motion and a second. Is there any other comments? May I have a roll call, please?
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. On this item, again, it's on the agenda that you do have the option to waive the second and third readings if that's the consideration. Hearing no comments, I will move on to the next item on the agenda. We're under development agreements, so next we're going to go into public hearing on proposed development agreement with Pries Enterprise, so I need a motion to receive and file proof of publication and notice of public
So
hearing.
moved.
Second.
Do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next, I would ask for a motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are now in public hearing in regards to the proposed development with Pries.
Pries development agreement is proposed to be 10% of their development cost. Their total project cost is estimated at $16 million. They are not eligible for TIF on all of that because a significant portion of that is equipment and internal supplies. But the development cost itself, I believe it came in at $630,000 for not to exceed. I'd have to go back and double check that exact number, but it's just on the development costs that they're eligible for that 10%. It is over 10 years. It's a graduated step down, 90, 80, 70, 60. So either they produce the taxable income or they don't. They don't get anything what they don't create. So pretty standard for our development agreements. I will point out that Pries has not requested development agreements or TIF rebates on their previous expansions. So this is the first time they've done it. They've put a lot of money out there in their projects.
I had one person say, or a few about, that when we give TIF money, they would like to see the projects of local workers working on it. And I don't know if they put bids out for that stuff to try, but, you get TIF money for a business, and then you drive by and you see everybody that you don't recognize them because they're all out of town. Not one person working in town, but when they get that business built, who do they want to support it? But us local people.
We don't have the local preference requirement, if you will. I do know that Larson Construction is building this
On
one,
this one.
so clearly that's a local business, but
Yeah, we just had one that had no local business working on it, and they're gonna want the money from us local people, so.
I would assume with most businesses, they're gonna bid the project and take the best bidder they can get, and I think we would do the same. And
well,
it's pretty hard to be real selective,
yeah, some,
trying to find street contractors to come in. I mean,
Casey's would be an example where they've got their contractors lined up anywhere they build their building. They're not going to go out for bid. They've already got their contractors lined up. And if you told them they have to use somebody local, they're probably just not going to do it.
They wouldn't have to give the TIF money to them either, so kind of works both ways. I'm just saying that's a
And they can take their business somewhere else.
comment that I heard. So,
Any other comments or questions on this matter? Hearing nothing, I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing and receive and file oral and written comments.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. That public hearing is closed. Okay, moving down to a motion to approve a resolution approving development agreement with Pries Enterprise Incorporated, authorizing annual appropriation tax increment payments and pledging certain tax increment revenues to the payment of the agreement.
so moved.
Second.
Do have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next on the agenda is a public hearing on proposed development agreement with Independence Affordable Storage LLC. I need a motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing. Do you have a motion and a second? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next, I would ask for a motion to hold the public hearing. I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are in public hearing in regards to Independence Affordable Storage.
This is the same gentleman that built the storage units directly adjacent to Goodwill, Brendan Skinner. So he has shown that he builds a nice product, and he's done a nice job of maintaining what he has there. These units will go on the parcel directly east of the new apartment complex against Highway 20. He bought the lot from the folks that own the fireworks store.
I sure wish he would make connections with the people from Pries that want to put up a work apartment building and increase the parking.
The folks with the apartment complex would prefer that. The folks that own the lot would not, because of the height of the building blocking their sign, and they bought that parcel specifically to protect the line of sight to their sign.
Yeah.
Any other comments, questions? Hearing nothing, I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing and to receive and file oral and written comments.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second to close the hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Hearing is closed. Okay, now I'm down to a motion to approve a resolution approving a development agreement with Independence Affordable Storage LLC, authorizing annual appropriation tax increment payments and pledging certain tax increment revenues to the payment of the agreement.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Okay. Now I need a motion to approve a resolution to provide for a notice of hearing on proposed plan specification forms and contract and estimates of cost for the Enterprise Drive Rise Extension Project and the taking of bids thereafter.
So moved.
Second.
Do you have a motion and a second? Any questions, comments? And may I have a roll call, please?
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next, we are down to the fact, I have opening on the Planning and Zoning Committee since John Hagen? I mispronounce his last name every time I say it, so I just call him John. Since he left and went to Florida, there is an opening on our Planning and Zoning. So I'm putting before you tonight a friend I've known for several years. Her name is Jane Leven, Leaven, to fill the term, which will actually be up again in January of 2022. So it's a short term.
I make the motion to approve it.
Second.
Do we have a motion and a second to approve this appointment? May I have a roll call, please?
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. And pass this down to, has all her contact information, so you can get that to the Committee. Okay. Next on the agenda is a motion to approve resolution amending fiscal year 2021 budget.
I'd make the motion.
Second.
Do we have a motion and a second? Was there any other discussions? And may I have a roll call, please?
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Down to other business. Rural Innovation Grant update. I need a motion to modify chamber request for the Rural Innovation Grant.
I believe
Nikki
Nikki
is
has
here.
some information on that.
Hi, hello, everybody.
Aye.
So we heard back last Thursday, Friday, one of the days last week, about the Rural Innovation Grant. Unfortunately, we did not get the grant. I'm going to tell you, in 2020, they had 22 applications for $416,000 requested, and they funded like 17 projects. This year, they had 64 requests, applications for the amount of $1.3 million requested. So while everybody was at home in 2020, people thought of projects and stuff that could be done and had grants written. So what I'm asking for today is, I know that you guys had taken $5,000 from the hotel motel tax as the match, your portion of the match to that grant, which was a 1.5 match. And we, in turn, raised another, so far, we have taken in $5,040, and we have an additional $1,500 pledged towards the project. What we would like to do is obviously modify what that project was to begin with. We will take, I talked with some people downtown, had our retailers meeting last Thursday, and just asked what was most important to them in the downtown area, whether, because we did have the grant written for the downtown Wi-Fi and for the speaker system. So I asked which was more important to the people, to most of them, and they for sure said the speaker system was most important to them. The initial budget we had gotten from the speaker company was about $20,000. If we did 10 speakers in the downtown system, we'd like to modify that down to 6, so we would take away 4. And most everything would stay the same, except, of course, the shipping on the project. The shipping was $300. I kind of took away $100, thinking that would probably cover 4 speakers. So we do have a total, if we did the 6 speakers, our transmitter, shipping, computer, light pole modifications from Independence Light and Power, which would be 6 light poles, for a total of $13,900. Between what you had pledged previously to us and then our funds raised and the pledges that we have out, we have a difference of $2,300 and $2,360. What we would like to do is raise that $2,360, and then with the blessing that you guys would still commit that $5,000 from the hotel motel tax towards that. The good thing I think we talked about with this when we proposed it the first time, when you decided to go ahead and let us go for this grant, these are wireless speakers, so we can build on this system. So we start small this year. Next year, they are $1,900. Next year, we can maybe add 1 or 2 dependent. We're looking into other grants that we were probably eligible for that didn't realize that we were eligible for, that could have also been used for matching grants. So we'd like to really get the modified speaker system put in place. It will probably take a little while, but to raise the other funds, but we'd like for you guys to keep that $5,000 in our total funds towards that project.
I'd make a motion to approve that.
I think it's a good idea. We've already
I,
put the money
It's already
toward
been
that.
pledged.
so are you making this an motion to modify the chamber's request?
Yes.
I'll
Deb
second
You
and
it.
did? Okay.
Jim.
You second? Okay. Do we need a roll call for this, or just,
I didn't put one, but I could do one if you want.
why don't we go ahead and do a roll call?
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Hill,
You're mixing us up. Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is
Thanks,
carried.
guys. We're
Thank-
hoping, we talked to Independence Light and Power, and they have some projects going on, so we said if we can have these in place by holiday open house, so we can start our Christmas music, that would be great.
sure.
So, yeah.
I visited one of the new businesses downtown, new business, I mean, that bought one of the existing businesses, and he and his wife were so excited. This is one of the things, when they found out I was the mayor, thanked me for us being able to do these, so I met him, let him know it wasn't me at all.
Well, we were
So,
excited about it too, so.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is Teamsters Local 238 policies, police policies, motion to accept.
This is a memorandum of understanding with the police union and our collective bargaining agreement. The memorandum of understanding allows us to enter into this agreement without reopening the contract. And we are in the, first or second year of a 5-year contract. So this allows us to go from the 8-hour shift for the police officers to a 10-hour shift beginning July 1st, provided there is ample staffing to do that. Currently, that's a question mark, but we're not at July 1st yet either. The Teamsters have requested this. This was something that they wanted. I'd encourage the council to seriously consider it, because we'd like to find a way to say yes to something that they're passionate about.
Are most of the police officers for this?
Deb, it's been my understanding that most of the officers are in favor of this. On the benefit side, administratively, I think we'll be able to save some overtime as well through these 10-hour shifts. So hopefully both sides will benefit from it in the future.
Thanks.
Donald, negative views was because of the long days and tiring stress. I mean, obviously, you said most of the officers are so. What negativity did you have?
I wasn't part of the vote,
Oh, I see, okay, I'm sorry.
so I don't know if there was any negative votes. I just wasn't part of the votes. Some of the older officers have already retired that were against it, so it's a newer group.
Okay, thank you.
I was understanding that it was going to help off with some overlap and busy times, so.
It would,
Yep.
it would as well, so.
Big help.
So hopefully officers won't be working alone as much
Oh, that's a
as they
benefit.
were before. So,
Deb, to answer your question, we're not privy to that. The Teamsters had their vote. They gave us the signed memorandum. It could be a simple majority or it could be unanimous. We don't know. They just said that they've approved it, and they've asked us to approve it because it modifies our current collective bargaining agreement. It requires the council to confirm it on management side.
I know there was some discussion that, 10 hours wasn't too bad, 12 or, more than that gets to be too much for them, but
In
10
the-
hours is,
in the past, I think there was a discussion of 12-hour shifts, which could be a problem if you have court dates and stuff. And 10-hour shifts, my opinion might be questionable too, but they all seem to be for it as a group at this time, so.
Well, and this gives them all time too, by the time it comes back up to review the contract, if it worked well for them or not.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, if it doesn't work out well for either side, there's an option to return back to the 8-hour shift. Am I
Correct.
correct?
Correct. There's a mutual understanding that if either side want to revert back to the 8-hour shifts, obviously there's a transition time, but it's built into that agreement.
I think right now is what they want to do is they just want to be able to have this option available to them, and they're trying to think ahead. Right now, I don't think we're going to have enough staffing at this point, but once they get up to fully staffed later on, maybe in a couple of months or so, then hopefully it'll work out then.
I'd make the motion to approve it.
Second? Thank you, Darwin.
Okay, I do have a motion and a second to approve the memorandum of understanding. Can I have a roll call, please?
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next on the agenda is the 28E agreement with Buchanan County Secondary Roads.
This would put into place our agreement with the county to provide motor grader services on the 3 streets that we have that are currently gravel. It would also allow us to dispose of our motor grader now while it still has some value, and let the county do the work. We would agree to the labor cost based on their cost for their people, and the rate for the equipment is set by DOT, so it's a pretty straightforward agreement for the limited amount of effort, work that we have for motor graders.
Maybe we need to do more checking on this. I've heard there's nothing wrong with that maintenance, that machine.
It's not that there's anything wrong with it. It's not about the machine is defective at this point. It's about, we have to have somebody to run it, and as it becomes, the wear and tear on it, if we need to make the repairs on it for the 3 blocks, we're probably going to get more for the machine today than we will down the road, and we don't have that much work for that.
We don't have any city employees that can do this?
I didn't say we don't have any that can do it. Rick Rasmussen was our primary motor grader operator, and he's retired. Again, doesn't mean that we don't have other people that can, but it's just, we only have 3 short stretches of street that we use a motor grader on. That's a very expensive piece of equipment for the amount of work that it does.
I make motion. Approve it.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second to accept the 28E agreement. May I have a roll call, please?
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. We are now down to request from the Boy Scouts, motion to waive City Code Section 122.10, transient merchant time restriction.
As a nonprofit, the Boy Scouts have requested that they do a fundraiser, setting up a concession stand during the fireworks on the west side of the river. They cannot be on the east side because of the Celebration Committee's activities, and their charter precludes them from being there. The challenge that we have is, while we can, from an administrative standpoint, approve their concession stand, the council has to waive the time restriction. The transient merchant license requires they be done selling at 7 o'clock. That's when they want to start, and that makes sense with the fireworks display.
I don't see any problem with this at all.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys would with the committee.
We have been asked for many years, why don't we sell over there? And we just don't have the manpower to do it.
Yeah.
And, we've looked for groups to go over there and do something for a long time. And so we're, especially this particular group, I mean, we would,
I think if it's successful, it could be start of something really good
Yeah.
over there.
I mean,
Whether it's churches
I think
or
our
Boy
opinion
Scouts
would,
or-
our opinion would be that as long as it's a nonprofit, like Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or something like that that's doing that, we would have no problem with it at all. Because initially, when we first started this event 20 years ago, our intent was to have nonprofit vendors down there, and that's what we had for the first 2 years. But then, as with most nonprofits, they don't have the manpower to continue, and our event got bigger, so then we had to move over to commercial vendors, and we still allow nonprofit vendors to come down there and do business. But we just, with how the event has grown, most of the nonprofits are like, we can't handle that kind of volume. So now we have commercial, but, yeah, we would have no problem with having, as long as the group over there would be a nonprofit and would benefit somebody locally, that would be fine.
I'd make the motion, we approve it.
Second it.
Okay, I do have a motion and a second to approve the request. May I have a roll call, please?
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes?
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried.
Are you trying to keep us awake tonight?
Yeah,
Is it working?
if I have to be, you have to be. I tried taking a nap earlier between meetings, and it didn't work. Okay, next on the agenda is a motion to approve Curtis Architect agreement for architectural services for the downtown revitalization CDBG application.
So moved.
second,
Any other discussion or anything? Then could I have a roll call, please, so Bob stays awake?
Hannah,
yes,
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. We're almost done, Bob. Okay, next on the agenda is Mini-Mart cigarette permit. I need a motion to approve the Mini-Mart cigarette permit.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. Any discussion or comments? Roll call, please.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes?
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah.
yes,
Thank you, motion is carried. Now, our last item on our agenda is a motion to follow CDC guidance and remove mandatory mask mandate from city facilities and provide for optional mask mandate.
We have no choice.
Well, I don't like to say that to the council, so I wanted to give you the option.
I'll
And,
make the
and that means if we pass this, these things are gone, right?
They can be if the council directs us to take them down, yes.
Please, council, I
I'd like
beg
to
of
see
you.
us stay up.
Oh, well, you can keep yours if you want. I want mine gone.
Well, you're supposed to wear a mask if you haven't been vaccinated, so is people gonna be the honor person and do that and wear a mask?
Had my vaccinations back in April, so I'm
There's
covered.
people that haven't, so the ones that haven't been vaccinated are supposed to wear a mask. Are they going to?
Okay, I
Putting
did
it up is
get
not
a,
big
I
deal.
made a motion
We-
to
we did,
follow
motion?
CDC guidelines.
Okay, I do have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Roll call, please.
That means taking these down or leaving them up.
Well, at this point, this is about the masks in city facilities. As far as the petitions here in the council chambers, I think that has to be, from what I'm hearing, I think you want to address that separately. It is part of the, I mean, I won't tell you it's part of the CDC guidelines because I don't think they specify one way or the other as far as these petitions go. So at this point, I would ask you to consider the mask mandate in city facilities.
That'd be all city facilities.
Yes.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Callahan.
Yes.
And I don't know if you want to address the petitions here, or if we can, because it's under the same topic, but it's separate from mask mandate.
I'd say to be,
Did you have a motion to put them up?
No,
Oh,
Just administratively do that?
we did it administratively,
they
yes.
just appeared.
Save me.
Okay, the other
Really
motion did
remove it.
pass.
That's fine. I want to make sure I honor the council's feelings on that. I understand Deb's concerns. I think that we're at a place in the process where I think people are becoming more and more comfortable with the vaccinations and with where we're at. I don't want to dictate that to anybody, but that's where we're at.
I'd make a motion, we
Are we
take
supposed
him
to
down
talk?
if everybody's vaccinated.
Well,
You can't ask that question.
Huh?
You can't ask that
You
question.
can't.
we
What,
we
you
are,
can ask somebody
we
if they've been
cannot ask,
vaccinated?
from the city's staff perspective, we cannot ask employees if they've been vaccinated.
If a violation.
Public safety.
Uh,
That trumps it.
it-
Governor doesn't, it was.
Yeah, the governor disagreed with you.
She's wrong.
Yeah, but the state law isn't.
How many does this bother having these up? Does it bother you?
Yes.
Feel like a bobblehead, but yes.
Well, a lot of things through this pandemic have been inconvenienced, but take it down, I'll wear a mask the whole meeting, so whatever you want to do, I don't care.
Well, I'd be in favor of coming out of, unless Carl doesn't want to be neighborly.
These don't bother me, but you playing with my foot does.
Hey,
That seems like a whole different story. And since we're down to council comments, council members' comments or whatever, maybe that gets added in there with Carl?
I apologize, Bob. I lost it.
Smooth feet or rough feet?
I think that was my computer bag, I'm sorry.
If I can get this petition down, I'll stop.
There you go.
Terry.
You
I'll
got a problem.
negotiate.
This is the price I pay for having 3 meetings in one night.
Yes, it is. It hasn't been that long, though. It's been, time-wise, fairly short for the second one, or the last one. Okay, is there any comments or anything from council members? We're down to reports.
Has there been any finality to the parade route?
So, okay, sorry. So we have heard back from our application. Sorry, John. We did hear back from the application. I think there are some hoops that we would have to jump through that could be very costly for us to have it in the regular parade route. So right now, we are tentatively going to have it starting in the Veterans Park area, and it will go out towards East and West Elementary. I have a call out to a message out to make sure that we can still use the parking lots at East and West and at the Kidsville area. Brian Lau and I talked about, there might be people that just want to go straight out of town there, or people, they have a lot of options. They can go to the left, they can go to the right, they can go straight out of town. We did think about starting it out west and coming east, but then that kind of bottlenecks everything up around Bills and River's Edge if we came out that way. And we need to keep it less congested in that area, because that will be where emergency personnel will use the 2nd Street Bridge and the 2nd Street area, so on the southwest side.
So
So
do you have enough
tentatively-
space to set up in that area for fire trucks and floats?
My
or
thought on the
anything
fire
else?
trucks, and Dick can tell me if I'm, could be right or wrong, was that they could just pull onto the bridge, First Street Bridge, and wait, because they wait over here, right, to pull in. If they could just wait on the First Street Bridge, and then we could put them in to the mix. That's an option. It will be tight down there, obviously. It's not quite the large open area that we have. But the other option is not having the parade. I mean,
Oh, no.
from my understanding.
That's not an option.
I know it's not an option. It's not an option for me either. I'm just saying. It was very costly, like, my understanding could have been anywhere between $5,000 and $8,000 for us to pay for the detour signs of a detour. So
Nikki, do you,
if everybody wants to donate some money for that, I'd be happy to accommodate you, but
from a staging perspective, what do you recommend people do? Because, I mean, in my mind, as I think about it, I think there'd be more staging veins out west versus.
And the reason why we don't do that is because we don't want that bottleneck downtown as people are coming off to Bill's.
Right,
They're either
but-
gonna have to turn right off to Bill's, and remember, we're still gonna have that detour coming through.
But for those people who want to be in the parade, where are they going to stage at?
We're staging in the Veterans Park area.
I mean, is there enough room there for that?
We might be staging all the way up to Rydell. I mean, it just depends, you know? It'll be the Veterans Park area, just kind of like we do, Veterans Park will be that main hub, right, in that little area. And just like we do at St. John's, we go up into the residential area to the north, so we'll just go into the residential area to the west. And it will come out in between the blue house that sits next to Burger King and Affordable Accounting. That's where they will come out. That's where the parade will start. So we are a block off that.
That's good.
Trust me, we've thought, I mean, we've kind of had this since 2019. That was our plan if we couldn't move it a block off of Main Street. So
Nikki, could they stage south of First Street, possibly?
I would say very little bit of staging over there, if any, only because they want to, don't want it that too congested, because that's where emergency personnel would come through. That's my
Like
understanding.
you say, you can use the parking lot for the daycare.
Sorry.
Now, Deb, it is on the 3rd, and if you lived here for a long time, maybe you don't remember, because it only happens like once every 10, 11 years, but it is, on the events are on the 2nd and the 3rd. So, I did have a question though I did see a question last night about if we had it on the 4th and it was a Sunday, if the parade could be moved later and everything could be moved back. Never thought of that as a option. This year it's not happening, but maybe 10 or 11 years down the road, we might take that into consideration. So, right
I think
now,
with the activities, having a morning parade really works well.
it does.
Because it ties into everything else.
Yep.
It does.
And I know it would impact the celebration committee, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the reasons why we have always tied ourselves together is because then people get done with the parade and then they'll come down to the park, and that kind of helps us get going too.
We have people in the parade that go to different towns after this too, and
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's any of the communities around that do it on the 4th if it's on a Sunday.
One thing I want to clarify,
Not sure.
there's somebody out there saying that that we'd changed the parade and the fireworks and everything to Saturday for religious reasons, and
yeah.
that is not the case.
It's not,
It
I
has
mean,
more to do with logistics of having help from the police and the firemen and all of that on a Sunday versus a Saturday.
there's a little bit of respect factor there,
And-
right?
and so- yeah, there is some respect for
Typically,
that.
we use
For
the
the
St.
churches,
John's
but
parking
it's-
lot to stage at.
By
Well,
no means is it
No,
motivated
it's,
by
yes,
religious
it's, no.
things, so.
I think everybody's gonna be so happy to have a 4th of July. We can close our eyes and say it's the 4th of July on
By the way,
Right.
I'll once again plug that we are in need of volunteers,
Yes,
so.
yes. Even with the parade, we're always in need of volunteers for the parade, too. So it does take a lot of people to get them all lined up in the right spot. And this year, it won't be quite, probably as smooth as it had been in normal years, but, so tentatively, I'm gonna, if it's okay, I'm gonna put out that parade route tomorrow so people know well in advance, ahead of time, stuff like that. The next council meeting, we'll have our special events application for you to approve, but I didn't think that you would probably say no about the parade.
If anybody has a concern about the
Yeah.
parade route, would you call me tomorrow morning or by tomorrow morning and let me know if you've got any strong concerns with that, so I can work with Nikki to
Yeah.
address those? We don't have it for the council's consideration until the 14th of June formally to do it, but if you've got an issue, please let me know.
Okay, is there any staff members that have any reports they'd like to make? Police, fire is shaking their head.
No
Yes.
police updates?
I want to remind everybody that Assistant Chief Darwin Meyer is retiring the end of next week. So this is the last time he's going to bless you with his report.
At least in uniform.
In an official
Oh, you're
capacity.
yours, Darwin.
Thanks for your
Yes, thank
service.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will miss you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I did have a citizen call in, and they had concerns in regards to the flashing speed camera lights out there weren't working this morning at the proper time. And he also reported that on Friday, when the school was out early, they were not flashing at the proper time as well. So I don't know who handles the lights themselves, but
The school district is
they-
in charge of the flashing lights.
I just want to make you all
So
aware of
Wednesday
that.
we get out early, so it
Okay.
should be flashing.
Drive out there and tell them.
I avoid that.
I half think that we ought to consider taking the flashing lights out of the resolution. It's well marked, everybody knows it's speed limit out there. Flashing lights just kind of an added factor if that's going to become an issue, because I'm sure the school district, with everything else going on, somebody forgot we've got the computer program that controls it. You know, it's well marked on what the speed limit is.
Signage would have to change that, I think, because I think it says when the lights are flashing,
Yeah, it does.
so you have to change all that.
Well, and you also, Bob, I agree with you, that people in town, but say you got that one person, maybe two people or whatever, they're from Dubuque or wherever it might be. I'm just, if you see that flash, and then if I, just like when you go to Raymond or whatever, see them stop sign down, they got them flashing, you're aware of it way ahead of time. So I think you're right there, but then you said, like, we'd have to change that sign because we already have that now. But if, is that, maybe you don't know, is that manually turned on, or did you say it's automated?
I don't know.
It's
I think
a
the school
computer
district knows
they have to take a computer out to the sign and program when it starts and when it
Oh, I
stops.
see how they do it.
And
Okay.
so it's set up so the school district can do it, they know what their schedule is.
So they can manually change it when they need to instead of automation.
Right, so they'll set it up in the fall, saying, on these days, it'll flash from this time to this time. And they just plug it into the program. If school gets out early unexpectedly, or we have a storm day,
Okay.
they're still gonna flash because they're programmed to flash at those times. But I have to say that if we have a lot of consternation over lights are flashing, lights weren't flashing, what have you, there's no requirement that those lights flash, or we do anything other than put those signs up there. And we have a plethora of additional signs that are not required for the school zone.
The other thing is, I go through a lot of other communities, and they have the same type of signing where it's maybe a single yellow light flashing on top of a sign. And I think the school district needs to take some responsibility on it. We can't do it all for them.
Not hard.
We're making the money though, not them.
Protecting their kids, our kids.
All they have to do is not speed. When people complain to me, that's what I tell them. It's an easy answer.
Yep.
Don't speed.
While you're standing there, I have an item, or somebody brought up to me, in regards to, am I correct that you cannot use any fireworks in the city limits for the 4th of July? There's no dates that they can set off fireworks?
No, none whatsoever.
Not unless
No
what?
fireworks.
Okay, so I have a person that questioned why they don't have that posted at the places where they sell fireworks. So when somebody comes in to buy fireworks, they're aware that even though they're buying them, they're not going to be able to let them off inside the city limits.
I can speculate on it, Mayor, and my speculation is if they put the signs up there at their business, they're not gonna get much business.
That's exactly what I told this person. I just want to make sure he's right.
Yeah, and
I says, we can offer that sign to those places, but that doesn't mean they have to put it up.
Right.
Because if they have that there and a guy's standing there waiting to give money to buy, they're not want to buy when they find out they can't let them off, you know?
Yep.
So they thought, well, that's not fair to the people buying them. I was like, they should educate themselves and realize they can't set them off, so.
Right.
Okay. Just wanted to
Offer
clarify.
them.
Are you happy that you only have a week or two left of organized insanity?
Tomorrow I'll have 8 working days left. I have a calendar on my door at the office.
But you're going to miss us, so you're going to come back every once in a while, just if nothing else for public forum, right? Because you're going to miss all of us?
Yeah, sure. I'm lying, you realize that.
I don't care about it.
Couldn't resist.
Juan, that means that he's available for volunteering.
Hey, yes.
I would like to go to the 4th of July and enjoy the festivities for a change.
Yes.
Well, you could
And
volunteer for a couple of
Maybe even
hours.
drink a beer or two with John, so.
You could volunteer for a couple of hours selling tickets and stuff, and then go, you know, earlier in the day, and then Steve still be there to,
You'll work right next
Meet
to
up.
her, right?
Hmm?
You'll work right next to Bonnie, right? Selling tickets.
Yeah, if I can get away from the kids and the grandkids.
you do it early enough, they don't care. That's nap time.
No, I volunteered a lot of hours to this community.
Darwin, I
Into
just
the
say your
department.
hearing aids quit working and you just ignore this. That's what I do.
Well, we thank you for your service.
Yes.
And
Yes,
miss
thank
you,
you.
but
Yep.
best wishes.
Really do.
Now,
But
once
you're
the
so
party-
easy to pick on.
I appreciate all the training and positive experiences I've had and promotions throughout my career, and it's worked well for me, and I've stayed this long, so it's just time for me to go.
We're gonna miss your wry sense of humor.
Thank you.
Sure.
We still have Blake, right? Blake will fill in spots when he's not available.
So,
Thank you very
Okay.
much for your service, and
thank you.
good luck in your retirement. So is there anybody else has anything else they want to bring up? Any city manager, city clerk, nothing? Then I will ask for a motion to
So
adjourn.
moved?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are out of here for the night. Thank you all.
Thanks for your good time.